just have me on here to brag
No,
about
no,
how much
no, no.
better of an archer you are to me? That's what you are. You killed
No.
143 inch with a recurve, and then you're
Yeah.
like, all right, get this.
Yeah,
I
just
also make my own bows,
okay.
kill deer with
Yeah,
that. Now,
yeah, yeah,
Trent, talk
yeah.
about the deer you killed with a
Yeah.
crossbow last year.
You're listening to the Dirt School Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Johnson, and if you like hunting, fishing, country stories, and learning lessons from those who live their lives in rural America, you're going to love this podcast. Brought to you by Hunt Real Outdoors. All right, welcome to the Dirt School Podcast again. Today, ladies and gentlemen, got a pretty cool guest today. I think you guys are going to like him, and I've been watching his stuff for a little while now on all kinds of channels, actually YouTube, Instagram, a little bit of everything, and he is some kind of funny. But I also know there's a serious side to him, so we're going to try to drag that out of him as well today. So I've got Mr. Trent Ellis with me today. So Trent, thank you so much for being here, my brother.
Casey, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man. Yeah. I tried my best to do a little research on you, and
Okay.
I want you to kind of tell your story a little bit of maybe just a brief history of kind of where you come from and how you got to the place that you're at now. I do remember hearing this. Now, I don't know if this is where you live now, but if I'm not mistaken, I heard you live in Manatee, or is that
That's where I'm from. I'm pretty close to there.
okay, Manatee. Now, where is Manatee, Mississippi?
So it's in between Fulton and Tupelo in
Okay.
Edwina County, Mississippi.
Okay.
It's northeast Mississippi.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it now how far is that from that's a maybe an hour or so, 2 hours maybe north of us, kind of northwest of Starkville? Is that where that's at?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Actually, like Manatee would be right at an hour 40, hour 45 of Starkville.
Okay.
I
All
lived
right.
down there for about 3 years when I went to the Mississippi State.
Yeah, man, I'm a Go Tigers guy, obviously. So, but it's all
Oh
right.
man.
Hey, I'm praying for you.
Golly,
I'm
and we
praying
right here
for you.
before college football. That's what you did. You got me on here right before college football season
That's exactly
so you
right,
can
man.
brag about being an LSU fan.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, "Who's your top four this year in the SEC?"
Yeah.
I said, "I think Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and Ole Miss." And then one dude looked at me, who was an Ole Miss fan. He's like, "Where's LSU?" And I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
crap,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
dadgummit." But we're hey man, look, I love my college, I love
Sure.
my team, but man, we ain't been worth nothing since we got caught about
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Right, right. But I will say this. I will say this. Well, I could probably say this about a lot of the SEC teams that we always had to play. I don't like playing none of y'all.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I don't.
that's
I don't like it.
no, it's always it don't matter who's playing who. It's
Yeah.
the saying goes, and it's true.
Right.
Anything can happen in the SEC.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you're going to LSU, that saying doesn't apply as much, but um, it does. I mean, it's in the SEC. A lot of times you see the underdog, beat the opposer,
Yeah.
a touchdown or two, and it's just like good. There's always an upset. There's
Yep.
always an upset where they were supposed to be. They had them 20 points in the spread, and they come up and beat them. And so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I took my son when he was younger. We were at the LSU Troy game, Troy State, and Troy had a LSU like 31-3 at halftime. And son, I'm talking about them Cajuns was mad, son. They was cussing up a storm leaving that field, man. I mean, it was rough. And I remember telling my son, his name is Hunter. I said, Hunter, I said, buddy, I said, it's gonna take an act of God for us to come back and win this game. And son, we come back and won 33-31, I believe it was. It's got to be the greatest comeback in the history of LSU. It was unbelievable. And I was at that game at LSU when Arkansas had us beat in the last play of the game. I can't even remember which quarterback. I don't remember if it was Mettenberger or one of them. They threw like a 60-something yard touchdown pass, and we ended up winning that game in the last seconds of the game. And I was at that one too, son. You talking about good?
yeah, and
Yeah, it was good to me, man. But
wow.
anyway, I don't want to get off too much on football because we could talk about that all day. But I had a piece of property in Manti, Mississippi, just right out of Starkville. Do you know where that's
Mhm.
at? Manti?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
sold that property last year, and
That whole area down there
yeah,
grows them big, man.
yeah, yeah.
Grows them big. We're actually in the part of the state that is probably, besides the most southern part of the state, is like one of the worst as far as growing big deer. We got
Right.
turkeys,
Yeah.
they're difficult to kill. Are you, so if you're a Tigers fan, are you in Louisiana?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay,
in
so
Northeast Louisiana. Yeah, I'm north
okay,
of Monroe.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Duck Commander, Duck
Yes,
Dynasty.
sir. Yes,
Yes,
my
sir.
son used to work for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love those guys.
Yeah.
Love those guys. Louisiana and Mississippi, I think, are a lot alike when it comes to, pressure and difficulty when it comes to going and chasing birds on public or chasing deer or whatever. So you get that. But Northeast Mississippi, where I'm from, is it's like, man, if you kill 130, 135-inch deer up here, you've done something.
Right.
And there'll be somebody jumping your comments, be like 157,
Yeah.
right here in Plantersville or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get they're there, but I'm just saying, like, it's nothing like hunting alongside the Mississippi River, or
Right.
even right there in Oktibbeha County, Starkville, Manatee, all
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah.
It's just really, really good.
Definitely not like being in the Delta, just which is ridiculous.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
like, Mama, why couldn't you have married a farmer? Like from the Delta, I love my
Yeah.
daddy. He's my hero. But, or that's better yet, why couldn't he have been a farmer? You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Right
Yeah.
there in the
Yeah.
Mississippi Delta.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
golly, man,
Dad,
yeah.
you should have thought about your life choices.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we'll get into more hunting too, but you're from Manatee. You live close to there now, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Um, so did I see somewhere where you were in the military as well at one time?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was in the Marines for 4 years, and then I
Okay.
was in the Guard for 3 years.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, I
yeah,
appreciate that, my friend.
yep, I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
joined when I was 17. I joined, went to boot camp, and went to Paris Island and spent 4 years stationed at Camp Pendleton, deployed a few times, and met my wife. She was working as a barista at Panikin, which is a big coffee house or coffee shop on Coast Highway right outside of San Diego, maybe 10, 15 miles north of there. In
Yeah.
between, well, actually, no, I take that back. I think Panikin's in Oceanside, which is right outside of Camp Pendleton. And I had a buddy of mine in the Navy, and we met through him and his girlfriend, and ended up getting married, coming back here, missing the military while I was in college, thinking that I was going to be going that route. Felt the Lord leading me back to that. Um, and so I joined the Guard, and I was going to start the process for the Special Forces pipeline through the Guard. And as soon as I had all of my schools scheduled, I had airborne school, MOS school, and I think I had to take sergeant's course because they didn't take the Marines version of that. All of that was scheduled. I already had dates lined for 2020, the summer of 2020, and then
Yeah.
COVID kicked off.
Oh,
And so COVID kicked off in 2020. We're at Mississippi State in forestry, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna have 2 more years left here. I'm gonna get my forestry degree, and then I'm gonna go straight to the Q course in the pipeline, or not the Q course, but I had to go. I go straight to selection. I think it's a 2 week selection for Green Beret. And I was training, I was rucking, I was running, swimming, everything. I was in the best shape of my life. And then COVID happened, and literally all of our drills got canked for like 7 months. They said, "Hey, you're not going to airborne school." They're shutting the whole thing down. And and then I got into finance the same month and started selling insurance and studying to get investment licensed. And I started making some money and got close with a good friend of mine now, Desmond Martin, that trained me on that. And I just really got to seeing, like, man, I know what it's like to leave your family or be gone for a long, long time.
right.
I was like, man, I don't have any kids yet, but I would consider myself a family man. And I don't like the thought of having to leave my wife. And I definitely wouldn't like the thought of having to leave a child for a long time. And I'm making decent money doing this, and I've got all the freedom in the world. I can hunt whenever I want to, and I transitioned to online school. So I let my contract run out with the guard and I said, I'm gonna go finance full time. And in 2021, I got investment license the year I got out of the guard. And I just focused on building a book of investments, mutual fund, not anything crazy, day trading or anything like that, no crypto or nothing, just straight up mutual funds, Roth IRA kind of stuff, 401k kind of stuff. And I really liked it. I still do that. And I really love that.
Right.
Uh, Never thought I'd do it. I definitely don't look like a financial advisor or anything. I got full sleeve tattoos right here, and one of them's a cutover. So,
Yeah.
but 2023 happened August of this. So right now, what is it? August 3rd, August 4th,
Third,
something
I
like
believe it
that.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so 20 days. I think it was August the 23rd or August the 24th of 2023. I downloaded TikTok and I posted my first two videos. And I just told my wife, I was like, I'm going to do this for 7 days. I think I can do it. I think I can make some folks laugh. And if I don't hate it, I'm just going to keep doing it.
You had
No,
seen some other people doing it that
yeah,
kind of made you to want to do it.
yeah, I had seen a podcast of Justin Nunley, and he was talking about the money he had made and all this kind of stuff. And I was, business was slow for me at the time, and I'm like, well, man, I mean, if he can do all that, I might be able to pay a light bill, or whatever, after 6 months to a year or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, I just said, hey, I'm going to do it for 7 days, and I'm just going to make fun of myself. And Lord willing, hopefully it doesn't hurt my investment business because people, normally don't like their financial advisor getting on there and acting a fool, and just
Right.
unprofessional and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't being vulgar or nothing, but it was just like, most people you wouldn't think they would like that.
Well, it's funny because that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is like, because not to jump ahead of you too much, because I mean, I know it took off. I know it. I know you're going to say that because I mean, you're everywhere, and it's funny. So it worked. But that was one of my questions is did you find or do you find that that is hard for some people to say, can I trust this guy with money whenever I look and see that, you know, he's this guy over here? Do you think that, I
I
don't know.
think I think for some folks,
Yeah.
yes. I think for some folks it does. Um, Probably more of your upper demographic that's dealing with, I mean, their single portfolio may be an eight-figure portfolio. It's
Yeah.
by itself,
Yeah.
probably. But I'm gonna tell you, I've never lost a client
Yeah.
since I've been doing this. And I've probably lost, I think I've over my 4 years that I've been licensed and doing investments, I've probably lost five or six clients total, I would say. And every one of them had less than 5 grand with me
Right.
that were just doing that said, hey, had something come up, needed the money. Nobody has written a formal complaint. Nobody has said, you know man, I really, I've got some decent sized clients too. I have not had one client call me,
Yeah.
say, hey man, I got to get this is too much, or log on and it'd be like, whoa, where'd that four
Right.
hundred thousand dollars go? Like where's where'd that client go? Like, no, it's I've actually heard the opposite, to where I feel like a lot of my clients, and I've gotten a lot of business since then too, because it's made me more real,
Right.
because they think of that financial advisor that is just, that coat and tie or suit and tie kind of guy that just is super, super smart and talks over their head. And I can't tell you in the last 2 years how many people, first of all, I got my biggest client about 6 months after 6 months to a year after I was doing this. And I was like, you do know that I do social media. And she's like, I'm very aware of what you do. And I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
but I think I've had a ton of clients that have said, you know, I like what you do, and you just seem like a good down to earth guy.
Yeah.
And I'd rather trust you than I had trust somebody else. Because a lot of my content, it makes people, it resonates with people, especially country people, Southern
Right.
people, and
Right.
they feel like they know me.
Yeah.
When I go
Yeah.
to the shows, that's the one thing everybody says, like, man, I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm always playing somebody's like, cousin or uncle or whatever. And it's just, I'm always that guy that somebody has in their family or friend group.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually helped.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, I think a lot of people, or at least this would the way I would be. I mean, as long as you do what you do well for me with my finances, I don't care that it wouldn't bother me that you make TikTok videos or whatever and it's funny. I would think it's funny. I do think it's funny. But I think the main thing, especially for the normal average person, is that they
yeah.
can identify with a person and that person just does a good job for them. You know what I
Well, not
mean?
not to go down the rabbit hole with that. I won't spend 45 seconds on this, but
Yeah.
I think this is what has made everybody happy with my service is that I am super honest with them. When they
Yeah.
start investing, I tell them, I'm like, you are going to get over the next five, more than likely, but at least 10 or 20 or 30 years, 10 plus years, if you're with me for 10 plus years, you will get a statement that says negative 20 or negative 30% that
Yeah.
year.
Right.
It happens every year with large growth mutual funds, not every year, but every, you know, like 2022, 2008, anytime that the economy, the market does bad, you're going to do bad. But that's fluctuating down. Leave it alone. Listen to the people that pulled out in 2008. Leave
Yeah.
it alone. It's coming back. All right. We're not putting you in anything small cap or anything new. These are companies been around 50 to 90 years. And I take them through all that and I'm honest with them. And you can tell when you say that, like you're going to get a statement that says you're down 20%. It's probably
Yeah.
not going to be tomorrow, but it may be in 5 years. Don't pull out,
Right.
and this is why I show them all this mutual fund, their funds I'm putting them in. I show them all the green and then that one or two bad years. And I'm like, hey, but look, it came back,
Yeah.
you know, leave it alone.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's normal. And that way, because a lot of people get told, you know, this is going to make you the most amount of money. You're not going to lose in this, or they just get put in really safe stuff
Yeah.
that doesn't earn anything anyway. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, they don't lose money, but they don't make
They
none
don't make much either. Yeah.
because that's just because a lot of these big advisors know that people hate losing money on paper more than they love making it, and
Right.
they don't feel the need to sit there and explain to them all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, I just try to be honest, and
Sure.
that way a client can never come to me or anybody can never come to me and say, "Well, you didn't tell us that this was going to happen or that was going to happen." It's like, yeah, I did. Like, and I
Yeah.
seared the brain because I said it more than once. And so I just try to be honest and good to people. And I'm gonna over if I'm still in this business 30 years from now, I'm gonna have at least one or a handful that gets on the phone with me and dog cusses me.
Right. Right.
Part of the nature of the beast, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's right. That's right. Well, I mean that same thing really happened here not long ago, where the market kind of fell. And then I know my guy, he calls and he says, just, hey, don't panic, just hold out, it'll come back. And sure enough, it did. It rose back up even more than what it was. And so it looked
yeah,
good. And then whenever I first invested, um, the guy that does it for me, he goes back to my wife's account and she had some retirement money, or she had some money she had invested from working for the state and
yeah,
we still had it in there with the state. We weren't doing anything with it because back then we were young and we didn't. I mean, I'm 50 now, so this was a long time ago, but we didn't do anything with it for years because we just didn't. We're like wasn't thinking like that, and it was there and it was safe, like you said, it was safe and all. So when we pulled it out and we started investing it with him, he said, "Now I'm going to show you from the time she quit working." That money's been sitting there that long and only getting this amount with this state, He said, I'm going to show you what the market did in those years and how much money you lost.
I
Dude,
did this four
it was
days ago with a guy.
$60,000. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that 4 days ago with a guy. He's literally put in his entire retirement right now,
Mm.
and he's been putting in for 30 years. Is everything that's in there, he's put in there.
Yeah.
Showed him, I was like, hey man, look, if you'd have had this in a 10%, balanced mutual fund, 10% annually, you'd have about $1.3 million. And
Oh gosh.
he's, yeah, I ain't gonna say what he said, but
Yeah, that's right.
he was not happy. He
Yeah,
wasn't
that's right.
happy,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. So you do that obviously,
Mhm.
and then of course you started the TikTok stuff. So which video was it? Like what video was it? The first video just went viral or did
Oh,
great or what? How did oh no.
Lord, no. Man, I got super lucky too, because I sent after about 2 weeks of doing videos, I sent Justin Nunley an Instagram DM
Mhm.
and just kind of was honest and genuine. Was like, hey man, I'd love to get some pointers from you. If I don't get any pointers from you, if I don't hear back, there's no hard feeling. I'm still a big fan. No worries, thumbs up. And 15 minutes later, he called me on the Instagram Messenger app.
Yeah.
We talked for 25 minutes and he explained to me the hook because most of my views were getting about 2,000 to 4,000 views, for the first 2 weeks. You know, I'd say probably the first week they were averaging 400 to 1,000. And he was telling me, like, all right, you need to focus on the first 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, shorten all this, trim the fat. So he taught me about the hook and gave me some good advice about not comparing myself to anybody else, not having a specific timeline. Don't say, well, this guy over here has been doing it for a year. So at that year, I should be at that level. Don't do any of that. Just try to make the next video better than the last. That old Mr. Beast rule
Yeah.
that he talks about too. Um, and so I took that, and I would say probably within a week after that, I had a buddy over here and I said, John, you want to do a video? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I acted like it was a skit, and I acted like it was me and myself playing me, whatever. Um, Two buddies going hunting, and one buddy asking, do you have permission? Is that your land? He's like, oh yeah, that's my neighbor's. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're good. He said we're good. And then, of course, we're sitting there jaw jacking back and forth. And then the landowner, my buddy John, the landowner walks up, hey, what are y'all doing? And that video, that's where I was like, oh crap, or whatever. I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was funny. And that video on TikTok alone went like 654,000 views. And I remember thinking that's when everything was like my biggest video at that point was like 20,000 views. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that to me is when um it really got exciting. And then I had a delayed explosion of a video on Facebook that had been up for 2 or 3 weeks. And I woke up one morning and I just had a ton of notifications. And it had gotten like 100,000 views over the night. And it started out, it only got like 4,000 views. And then like I said, after a few weeks, it just started something happened and ended up a few days later, it had over 1 million. It was my first million view video on any platform. It was on Facebook. And
Wow.
then that right there, that video on Facebook started like, slowly going up. I mean, I wouldn't say that I've blown up because I have worked my butt off. I mean, there for first 6 months, I was putting out 2 to 3 videos a day, and,
Yeah.
and since then I've put out 6 to 7 videos a week.
Yeah.
Um, but like, because I've talked to guys and then be like, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have 100,000 more followers. That's kind of what a lot of guys like. I know Justin Nunley. I think I think August of 2021, maybe. I think he got 1 million followers on TikTok in that one month, or maybe it was that month and the next. But he got a 7-figure follower number in the matter of 30 to 45 days. I have not seen any of that.
Right. Right.
So I guess to everybody else, it looks like, dang, Trent took off.
Yeah.
But I've been watching it, and
Yeah.
everything. But I'm not complaining or nothing like that. I don't
Sure.
like anything
Sure.
like that. But yeah, I think that when that video went kind of viral, if you will, on Facebook, that's where it kind of clicked for me, like, okay, I think may be able to do this like full time for a living,
Right.
maybe able to seriously do something here. And I've said this probably on every podcast that I've ever done, and I'll always say this. I was coming home from Kansas at Matthew Newton's Final Destination Outfitters. I just killed my Kansas bird there at his place, and I was listening to a podcast with Alex Hormozy. He's not somebody that you can, do a Sunday school lesson off of. All right.
Right. Right.
But he believes, like, I love his stuff so much because he doesn't tell you what you should do. He tells you what he's done, what's worked, and what hasn't. And if it applies to you, use it. If not, go watch
Throw it
somebody
away.
else or
Yeah.
do something else, do push-ups or whatever you want to do. And he said, my favorite thing is he's like, if you make your goals, all right, if you make your goal instead of some object, you make your goal the work, you'll always reach your goals.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
like right then, I was a year into this and it just, because we always try to, I'm not going to say try to, but I think a lot of us fail to be content and thankful and look back and say, hey, 2 years ago, nobody knew who I was.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And now it's like I hadn't had a million follower month. Boo hoo. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I could be roofing.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I could be, sitting in a classroom at a school district waiting for a teacher to come by and talk to me, and nobody does. You know what I'm saying? I could be doing that only full time. All
Right.
right. Um, but I thought about right then, I thought, instead of sitting here and working and thinking about where I'm not, why don't I just say, hey, as long as I put out those videos every week, as long as I put out at least 6 videos a week, that's my goal.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the views do, doesn't matter what the videos do. And now I've transitioned from as long as I put out the 6 shorts and 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week, that's
Right.
all I care about.
Yeah. Now,
That's
now, which one do you think? Which one do you like doing best, and which one do you think works best?
Ooh, that's two totally different things there.
Yeah.
I like doing YouTube videos better because I don't have to compete with people's 1.5 second attention span. You
Right.
got 1.5 seconds on shorts to catch somebody, and for them to stop, watch the video. And normally, if it's a good video that you have 99% of people watching for the first 5 seconds, it's a million view video. But you've got to learn that. You've got to learn not only that, but you got to learn how you fit into that. What you can create as a content creator that's natural, that's not cringy, or just whatever works for you. But it is difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult.
Right.
And your followers on short form does not matter. Your followers matter from a sponsorship standpoint, but I take that back. Let me take that back. You do have, say you got 1 million followers on Facebook, you do have a certain threshold there. You're not going to post a video and it gets 60 views. All
Right.
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 But that also means that you're not just going to go up. I'm not going to post a video tomorrow just because I got 560,000 followers on Facebook and get on there and be like, "What's up, y'all? Hope y'all have a good day." And stomach's hurting right now, so I'm probably going to use the bathroom 3 or 4 times. But yeah, cooking breakfast, fisting to go bush hog. We'll see y'all later. That video is going to get about 1,200 to 3,000 views. All
Right.
right. And if you're just a regular, like just started, it's going to
Yeah.
get 40. So
Yeah.
you do have sort of a baseline with that, but you're still with shorts, you're competing with an algorithm to get
Right.
those higher views. That's why Justin Nunley's got 10 million followers on TikTok, and still his videos, if you go through there, a lot of them he'll average 2 to 500,000 views. You would think, you know, as those followers grow, and they should, but the platforms don't do that because they make $150 billion a year and they don't have to.
Right.
Um, YouTube, you have more of a baseline. If you have, you know, a million subscribers and you got them from long form. Now on YouTube Shorts, you're still competing with that algorithm,
Right.
for the most part. But I mean, there's people that are making a lot of money sleeping on YouTube, and people are watching them.
Right.
Everybody has a million subscribers on YouTube. They just don't know it yet, and their subscribers don't know it yet. There's somebody out there that could do exactly what I'm doing, and because they are not me, there's a million people out there that would enjoy seeing them do it better because than me because it's a little different in some way.
Right.
And I think with YouTube, it's a lot easier to say, I'm going to do this. I may not be super funny or super, you know, I may not be super in anything. I'm just me, but
Yeah.
I want to show that to people. And I want to show people how I can go out here and, get backlashes out of a rod and reel in 2.5 minutes or whatever the case. And weed eat my place and I'll do all this kind of stuff. Um, that stuff's not going to go viral more than likely and give you a career on shorts. But if you do that for 5 years on YouTube, you're going to have a million people or 500,000 people that want to watch you mow your yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about the algorithm as much. And I get to be more of just me on YouTube
Right.
and just bring people along. And that's
Right.
why I have that channel is to kind of separate the shorts from YouTube to say, all right, this is shorts is Trent being sarcastic, being relatable, but being sarcastic, being goofy, being funny, being exaggerated. To YouTube is this is Trent.
Right.
If you want to know what it's like to just hang out with me,
Yeah.
watch YouTube, and that's exactly how I am.
Right.
Not
Right.
exaggerated or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean I really enjoy filming, and I figured about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, well now eight, started doing it in January. Or no, I take that back. It was uh turkey season of last year. I started uploading some stuff. So I just figured then I was like, man, YouTube, YouTube ain't going nowhere, and I enjoy filming hunts and watching them and all this kind of stuff. And if it takes me 10 years to grow a fan base off long videos on YouTube, let's do it.
Yeah.
Uh, because I'm gonna be in the woods and be doing this and that and shooting guns and all this kind of stuff anyway. So why not video it? And if I can make a little scratch along the way,
Right.
let's do it. If I don't, so be it. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been doing it exactly 10 years now on YouTube. And, and it's a,
Podcast.
no, no, I've only been doing the podcast for like, I don't know, 6, 8 months, maybe. But
Okay.
I've had my YouTube channel since 2015, but most of my YouTube channel is hunting.
Okay.
I film video my hunts and everything. And so that's mostly what I've done on the YouTube channel. Now,
Okay.
recently I've been doing podcast and I've started getting into that. And so I'm really enjoying doing that. It's just another avenue for me to be able to kind of work into the hunting industry and meet people and just talk to people and be a witness to people and things like that. So I've started doing that, the
Yeah.
podcast. But now before the podcast started, is just hunting. Man, I'm ate up with deer hunting, son.
How
I
many
mean,
videos were you putting out a season
uh,
or a year?
yeah, I would put out probably, I would try to basically take people through my hunting season. So, I may would put out 10 videos a year, just following my season kind of a deal. And if I started doing like a vlog to where like I would, as much as I hunted, if I would go that week, I would vlog that week what happened. And then if I killed
Good.
one, then I would make a full episode of that hunt. And it would be more, a little bit longer. I try to make everything 8 minutes, because at least 8 minutes, because I don't know if it's like that now, but it used to be where it needed to be 8 minutes in order to have the commercials and different things to try to make some
Yeah.
money. But now it's just at least 8 minutes for the vlogs, and then if I kill one, then it may be 15, 20 minutes long, the hunt. So that's my favorite thing to do because I love filming the hunts and editing the hunts and all that kind of stuff. And I've gotten into traditional archery hunting and all that stuff, so I do a lot of that now. And then I've added the podcast to the platform, and of course I've got it on Apple and Spotify and all that kind of stuff too. But
Yeah,
the audio, but I've been doing that here recently, so I've loved that. But
that's
I
awesome.
haven't honestly I haven't seen I mean, it's not near about what I would like for it to be as far as numerically and the number of followers and all that. I think I have 2,611 subscribers as of today. So but I'm excited about that. I make a little bit of money. I've had a
Now, is
couple
that
of
on
it.
your podcast?
That's
Or
on the YouTube platform.
that's what I was going to say. If
Yeah.
you're, that's another thing is that if you're putting out 10 videos a year, even though it's a season. I mean, you
Hmm.
look at THP. THP is putting out a video or two every week,
Right,
even through
right.
in the off season. All
Yeah.
your big YouTubers, they're putting out weekly content 52 weeks a year
Right, right,
and or at least I'd say 40 weeks a year where they may have
right.
a week in between. I know THP doesn't, but
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine that's the same way. He's had a YouTube channel for about 4 years, 5 years, and it's not exactly where he wants it either. And I'm like, bro, you put out 4 videos last year.
Yeah, right.
Put the videos out. And that's why I tell people like
Yeah.
everybody has their million subscribers. It's
Yeah.
just they think that whatever they're doing is not interesting enough and they're just like, I'm not going to put that out. It's like, put it out, dude. If
Yeah.
you like it, if you try it and you like it and it's interesting to you, I guarantee you there's a 500,000 people that think the same way. And you're
Right.
just not going to see it right now. You got to do it weekend. That goes back to that Alex Hormozy quote. Don't worry about the results and where you're going to get and where you want to be. What to get there, what have you got to do until then? Focus on that daily or weekly.
Right.
And but um yeah, and I mean podcasts, good Lord, not to discourage you, but Casey, podcasts are harder,
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're more impactful
Oh
because
yeah,
if you
100%.
grow a fan base off podcast,
Hmm.
those people are wanting to listen to you talk for an hour.
Right.
My wife doesn't want to listen to me talk for an hour throughout the day, and she married me.
Yeah,
You
you
know
told
what
her
I
she
mean?
got to listen to this one though.
Yeah. But no, I mean Joe Rogan, his podcast, the biggest podcaster in the world,
Yeah.
took him 5 years for his podcast to pay for itself. And everybody told him, man, don't be doing those 3 hour. That's too long. He's like, F you. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it, but he's like, F you,
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know? He's
Yeah.
like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And he's
Yeah.
just himself, and that's
Well,
all
and
you
I and
that's
I
all you
and I
do.
think I think too with the podcast in some ways it's a little bit different to the degree of you're not like of course you need the views and you need people to listen and things of that nature, so that does matter. But there's also an influx of revenue stream that can come from sponsors and things of that nature as opposed to not just views on YouTube. You do what you
Yeah.
do, people like what you do, and somebody says, "Hey, I want to partner with you," or "Hey, would you like to partner with us?" and yada yada yada, and you can kind of get some revenue from that. So that kind of makes it a little bit better than just strictly a hunting video on YouTube, that
A
you're
hundred
waiting
percent agree.
waiting to go viral or something. Um,
Yep.
well, let's shift gears just a little bit. It's still talking about the long form content on YouTube, because I know you have some hunts and stuff like that, and I want to talk about hunting. I want
Yeah.
to. You're in Mississippi. I'm in Louisiana. You stated it earlier, and it is certainly true. It's a lot of the same kind of hunting. It is
Yeah.
hard hunting in these states, and I know
For
Mississippi has more
120 inch
deer.
deer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Mississippi has more deer than Louisiana does, but they're both about the same as far as hunting. It's just tough. So here's my question for you. Since you've started doing the all of the Instagram and TikTok and all of that, and you've become a whole lot more we'll just say famous, okay? Um, have you been given more opportunities to be able to hunt in better places? And
Oh,
what is
100%.
that like? Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I mean, I've like I said, Final Destination out of Kansas. I'll be going back there next year. Um, and I think I've only hunted. Let me take that back. I've only been able to deer hunt, which that's what I love more than anything. Turkey hunting is like the feathers touching the horn. Just that's right there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's right
Right.
under it. But, I've been able to turkey hunt at a couple of outfitters, and I've been able to deer hunt. I took my first out of state deer from a buddy of mine that I met on Facebook in South Dakota last year with a bow, and that was on private. It wasn't an outfitter, but it was just be like me calling you and saying, "Hey Casey, I think you're pretty cool. Come over here and
Yeah.
hunt this."
Now, is that the one you
I
got on
got
YouTube?
14 acres. You can't come over here,
Yeah.
but he had access to a lot more land, and
You can kill one on 14 acres if you plan everything right.
that's right. That's right. But no, that's been the only out of state deer that I've been able to kill. But I have been invited several places, several outfitters, and just several people like that, messaging me to come over or do whatever. Um, and at first I was like, especially on the turkey hunts and all this kind of stuff. And I've got a good friend, Corey Lair, with owner of Monarch Hunting Products. I've been out to his club in Texas and been able to go out there and, for a lack of better words, just play. Shoot hogs at night, do an MLD doe hunt during the day, um, and it's fun. Going to places like that to where it's easy. It's fun.
Yeah.
South Dakota was not easy. South Dakota was easier than here in Louisiana. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Way, but it was still, it was on somebody's land that didn't have a feed program, that didn't have, it was just land, and it's like, let's go hunt. And we hunted them. But it was super, super, super fun. Um, but I would say, just like anything else, man, once you get to do it, and I'm not discouraging anybody to do it. I think if you have the money, go do it. Or if you get on, Facebook or whatever and start, getting big and can promote some things for folks, do it, go do it. I think everybody needs to have that experience,
Right.
especially a blue collar, redneck like me that grew up just like, man, I wish I could do that one day, but I
Right.
can't afford this or afford that. Um, do it. But for me personally, um, there's nothing like going out back and getting in that blind back behind my house and putting one down. There's nothing like getting on public. There's nothing like getting on public and shooting like the deer that you got on your wall right there.
Yeah.
Look, that's the same thing. All that right there is public.
Right.
Look,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, well, that middle one is about 50 yards from public on private, but it was legal.
That's
Okay. I
right.
had permission. All that right there, that one was public. I don't even know if y'all can see that with a bow. Um, but I show y'all that and I show you that because I don't have a 130-inch deer in my house.
Right.
And I have seen those deer like in Texas through a scope and knowing that if I pulled the trigger on one, I'd be ecstatic.
Right.
But man,
Yeah.
going out there on public and climbing up in the saddle and slinging an arrow through a 105-inch 8 point that was chasing a doe or whatever, dude, they ain't nothing better than that, brother.
Right. Right.
Telling you, like they ain't. So, I spend, and now that I've got, we got a 3-year-old boy and we got a little girl on the way in October. I'm not going to have time to. I'm not going to make time to leave them 5 times a year. My
Yeah.
wife is very flexible with me. I mean, she she told me I'm gonna leave in January and hopefully go to Oklahoma with a buddy and hunt for a few days. But she's like, listen, I don't want you leaving before January. And once January gets here, if you have to be gone, it only needs to be 5 days a month. And I'm like, babe, that's a pretty good deal. Like,
Yeah. That's right.
for a
I'll
wife that
take
gives her
that. Yeah.
husband 5 days a month to be
Yeah.
gone and hunt or work or whatever, like
Yeah.
that's good. But I still like I paid extra money to leave a hunt this year early, 2 days early. And I was having a great time at camp with the guys, but the birds just weren't gobbling. They weren't working. They were pretty much done.
Yeah.
And I miss my family. And I was like, man, I'm gonna pay $250 extra and get on a plane and go see my family. I don't like being away from them, you
Right.
know, at all.
Yeah.
Because that's if you want to know what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was a daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a daddy, and I
Mhm.
wanted to have a son.
Yeah.
And that right there, now that I've got it,
Yeah.
they ain't enough inches on a deer that pull me away from them.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, I just so I'm going to go during turkey season or deer season once or twice a year. But if it's more than that, you better have room for the whole fam.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
We
come.
all going.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to do that. I'd love to get an RV and just say,
Yeah.
hey, once
Yeah.
October hits or September, we're gonna we're gonna cruise. We're just gonna hunt public in 5 or 6 states. We're gonna come back after about a couple months and hunt the rut here in Christmas and January and
Right.
all that. But
Follow the rut, chase the rut. Somebody used to have a
chase the
show
rut.
called that or something, chasing a rut or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
go from state to state. Yeah.
that's right. I don't know
Like,
where that was going or what question you asked or anything, but
well,
that's
no,
yeah.
no, no. Well, I wanted to talk about hunting and we talked about it a little bit, and I know you obviously you hunt public a fair amount, and which I do too, which I hunt private as well. But I still
Me
travel a
too.
little bit. I still travel a little bit and hunt in some different states. Got drawn for Kansas this year. Probably gonna be my last year to go there. I've been going there like 7 years. And but the older I get, the more I want to just kind of hunt around the house. And to be honest with you, I fell in love with traditional archery now, man, and that's all I want to do. I just want to kill something with a traditional bow, and it don't have to be as big. I killed that deer, however you point. That deer over here, over here. It's right there on the screen. I
I
killed
got you.
with a recurve this last year, and which I've
Oh
killed three.
wow.
I've killed three bucks with a recurve. Matter of fact, I was telling I don't know who was that I was talking to. I don't know if it was Joe Miles or whatever, but I was talking to somebody on the podcast, and I said, honestly, I have yet to kill a doe with a recurve.
Are you kidding?
I've killed
You
three
killed
bucks,
only bucks?
only bucks. And listen to this, and I love to tell this story, but I, my wife bought me a recurve for Christmas about 25 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. And I tried to hunt with it at first, didn't do too good, and I just set it in the corner. And then, 5 or 6 years ago, I decided I was going to pull it back out, dust it off, get it fixed up, and I was going to try to hunt with it. So we were hunting in Kansas. And of course, we had feeders and everything. I mean, that's the first thing I always try to say that because everybody's, I ain't real hunting or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm not
uh,
a real hunter either.
yeah, not a real hunter. Yeah. So we had feeders go in there and we were getting pictures of a big 8 point coming to the feeder in daytime. Dude, I was in a revival at the time. And so, yeah. And I was like telling my buddy Frederick, I said, soon as this revival is over, we're headed to Kansas. So it
You're out
ended
of the
on
spirit, brother.
it ended on Wednesday night. It was like, thank you, Jesus. Nobody got saved and they didn't
I was
extend the
supposed to
revival.
say, yeah, you're like, all right, y'all need to hurry up
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
invitational and get saved or not.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Gotta go. We
yeah.
preachers gotta go to
That's right.
Kansas.
Yeah. You gonna fool around and make a video about that. But anyway, yeah, I'll be seeing that on TikTok here soon.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
um so anyway, so we left and we got there at like 2 o'clock that next day on Thursday. And at probably 5 o'clock, like I heard there was a gravel close by, and those deer would come from across the road through huh? What happened?
My wife is
Oh,
I connected to her AirPods. She's in there. Let me turn that off. That won't happen again.
hello, how are you doing?
All right, have you got me?
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I got you.
I lost the screen. Where we at? There
Oh,
we are.
I see
Okay.
you. Okay. All right.
You stopped talking. I saw connecting to Brianna's AirPods. I
Yeah,
bet,
yeah.
I bet when she opened them, she was like, "What's
What
going
is this? Yeah, who is
on?"
this
Talking about a
loudmouth
recurve
dude?
in Kansas.
So I
Go
heard
ahead.
this. There was a gravel kind of in front of me, and these deer would come across the gravel road from a kind of a draw on the other side, and they would come to our feeder. And so I heard this vehicle stop, and then it kind of left. And I said, just in my mind, I said, I bet that car was looking at that buck and that buck's coming. And 5 minutes later, I look up and that sucker's standing there coming straight to me. And so I grabbed my bow, I turned my I got all this on my YouTube channel, bro. It's all filmed. So he comes up to the video and I pull the thing back and I let it go and he ducks and I hit that sucker like right in the heart. It just low, just
Oh,
boom, right there. So he
what's
runs
the name of your channel?
Hunt Real Outdoors, Casey Johnson.
Hunt Real Outdoors.
Outdoors, yeah. And it may say Casey Johnson on there too. So one of the two.
Is it Casey Johnson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
so
I've
so
I've I've pulled it up now. That's
okay,
you.
yeah, that everybody, that's me. So yeah, but you can go down there and follow and see that. And so we went and found a thing, and it was a 143-inch 8 point, brother.
You killed a 143 inch with a
The
recurve.
first deer I ever killed with a recurve.
That
So
is insane. I'm not
so
even gonna watch it now. That
so
kind of
what?
pisses me off, to be honest with
So watch this,
you. Sorry,
Trent.
preacher, but that does. That's just ridiculous.
You got to watch this though. So I'm all about a challenge. I'm just like, hey, I just want a challenge. So the next year I decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna watch a bunch of YouTube videos and I'm gonna make my own longbow and kill a deer with it. So I go to Lowe's and I get a hickory board.
You just had me on here to brag
No,
about
no,
how much
no, no.
better of an archer you are to me. That's what you are. You killed
No, no.
143 inch with a recurve, and then you're
Yeah,
like, all right, get this.
yeah,
I
just
also make my own bows,
okay.
kill deer with
Yeah,
that. Now,
yeah, yeah,
Trent, talk
yeah.
about the deer you killed with a
Yeah,
crossbow last year. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
that's right.
So
Uh,
you made your bow.
so
All right, you go to Home Depot.
I made a bow. We go back to Kansas to a different spot. And all I wanted to do was kill a doe. I'm like, I just want to kill a doe with a deer with a bow I made. So I look up and a doe starts coming. I'm like, this is great. And then I look through the woods and I see some legs coming. And a 10 point steps out. 135-inch 10 point steps out. He walks up 10 steps, brother. I shot that sucker right in the lungs and he fell like 35 yards. Was
Wait,
like
were you
ruined.
in a stand? Were you on the ground?
I was in a saddle.
All right. So how
First time I ever hunted in a saddle.
okay, so how high were you in the saddle?
14 foot.
I was gonna say most guys that hunt with a recurve that I've seen
Yeah.
don't get very high.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And that one right back there, I killed 11 steps last year here in Louisiana. He's 115 inches, and that's a good deer for here where we are. So tell me about that deer you killed across.
You know what? I look, it's time to go to bed. Um, it's ridiculous, man.
Golly.
Man, look, that's funny. Last year, I was and I think I'm gonna give that crossbow to keep me from using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna give that to a buddy of mine,
Yeah.
and that way he can bow hunt this year.
Yeah.
Um, but last year I had this buck over here. Let me see if I can turn this light on. You can see it. This is we called this one Dagger because of that.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
so
Good
you can see
grief, man. Look at
it's
that.
we
That's
ain't got good
crazy.
lighting in here, but that
Yeah.
sign right there is about 10 inches.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's him. I don't know what inch wise he is,
Right.
but when I
He
saw
big enough.
him, I was like, exact. I was like, he's big enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I had him on camera back in. I think I got him on camera 2 years ago, and I was like, man, that's a unique deer. But he didn't have that side attached to that brow tine. I just thought he just had a main beam and that brow tine coming off of it. And then this last year he showed up like that, and he had really grown out. And I said, I'm gonna kill him. Well, my corn feeder out there was at 40 yards, and he was behind it. And I had my compound, same bow that I shot that deer at 40 yards in South Dakota with 10 point.
Yeah.
And I was out of the saddle out of that one, but this one I was in this blind and I flat just shot, missed because I had the camera and I had it on him and I drew. And when I did, he walked. And I'm one of those TV hunters, if you'll call me that. Um, you may or may not get the deer on camera.
Right.
When I get the deer in my camera, I'm
Yeah.
taking a
Yeah.
shot.
That's right.
Hope y'all can be there for it. If you
Yeah.
can't, just
I'll show you the recovery.
I'll show you the recovery. Well, for this one, there was no recovery. I had held on for about 2 minutes, and he was, I think, at 47 yards. And at this point in time, I had never killed a deer with a bow, and I've killed a good many bucks with my bow. At about 25 yards, 25 maybe 30 at the longest. This was at 47,
Mm.
and I shot, man. I'd love to tell you that I skimmed his back or shot right under him, and I mean, I think my arrow was allergic to him. It's like the same end of the batteries trying to touch one another.
Yeah.
It's like my arrow, if this was his back right here, my arrow was like a rainbow. I mean, I nearly hit cars going down the
Yeah.
highway. It was so bad. And they were way out there.
Yeah.
And I come in and I made a little video about it. And I said, you know what? I got a perfectly good crossbow in there and I'm about to use it. I said, I'm going back tomorrow. And if he comes out and he steps behind that feeder again, which he probably won't, he's probably gone for another month
Yeah.
because I just shot at him. But if he does, I'm going to bust his butt with that dang crossbow. I'm going to be happy about it.
Yeah.
And he did exactly that. He come out at 50 yards and I smoked him in the heart.
That's what I'm
And
talking about, son.
let me tell you something. When I got down there to him, I forgot what I shot him with. All I could see was that he was stiff up against that tree like that, and those horns were sticking out, and I was going nuts. All
Yeah,
right.
man. That's what I'm talking
And I
about.
was like, dude, like this is insane. But I got a new bow this year. First one since 2016, new Matthews. And I really like it. And I'm making myself, like I said, I'm gonna give that crossbow to my buddy and I'm gonna make myself use that and I'm gonna try to shoot another deer back here out of the blind with it.
Yeah.
I moved that corn feeder up though. It's not at 40 no more. It's at
That's right.
30.
Yeah.
So, but um, but yeah, I'm that guy, man. I've told people a lot that I really think that you know until I get my fill of horns,
Yeah.
I'm going to use every advantage I have. I mean, if it's gun season, and I'm probably going to take my gun.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's bow season, obviously I'm gonna take a bow.
Hmm.
Here in Mississippi, we get to hunt with a bow from October 1st to about November the 20th,
Yeah.
18th, 19th, 20th. So we get a good month and a half of bow hunting. A lot of times I'll kill a few deer with it. Well, by that
Yeah.
time, the rut's about to come kick on, and unless I go to a bow only area, I've got a gun with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
until I get to the point that, you know, I've killed the big deer and I want to make it more challenging, just like
Right.
last year. I killed that buck right there on the wall with that crossbow. And it's like, all right, I feel like in my heart, there ain't no sense in doing that 2 years in a row. You know,
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot at him and miss him once, I'm gonna shoot at him and hit him or miss him again with a compound.
Yeah.
You
Right. Right.
know,
Yeah.
but until I get there, that's just I kind of play it by ear. But I don't
Sure.
have these certain like do's and don'ts of
Yeah.
I try not to add any more laws than the game wards put on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Well, for me, it's which I understand and I get that 100%. I mean, and I still hunt with all weapons, but I'm mostly bow hunt,
mhm,
but I still hunt with anything that I want to. I mean, I'm not against that at all. I certainly do it from time to time. But last year I hunted mostly with my recurve, but I still
yeah,
took my compound too. And then I snuck my gun out a couple of times on different hunts. And for me, it's more about like I love a challenge, so I'm real big
yeah,
on that. Of course, the recurve certainly provides that for as far as a challenge is concerned. Because I didn't kill that deer until December, and I hunted all year and killed a doe, and didn't kill a buck till December. And because I was hunting with a recurve. But for me, number one, it's the challenge, and then number two, it's the story.
Yeah.
I love just the story. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
something like, if I can, take the gun out that my dad bought me when I was 16 and I hadn't killed a deer in 20 years. To me, that's cool. So I'm videoing that and I'm going to do it. And to me, that's
Mhm.
just a good story. Or, if a couple years ago I had a little piece of property in Arkansas, and I had patterned these deer, and it was really the first time on that piece of property that I really kind of figured out what the deer were doing. And so I made a video of that, and I shot this deer with a gun because I was just like, this is a cool story because I figured it out. I
Yeah.
really figured out what the deer were
Yeah.
doing. And
That's
so
the
I know
best feeling as a hunter when you feel like
100%.
I have gotten in these deer's heads. I'm in their
Yep.
path. I'm in their head. I know exactly what they're going to
Yep.
do. And I guessed that they would do this, and I was right.
That's right. That's right.
That is
Yeah.
it. That's like it's just like a squirrel hunter that takes dogs. They don't care about killing squirrels. They want to
Right.
get 4 or 5 guys around that want to kill them. They just want to watch the dog
Watch
work.
the dog work. Yep.
It's like they want to watch that dog work and they want
Yep.
to watch the training that they put into that dog work, and it makes them feel better.
Yep.
It's the same way
Yep.
when you say, I think he's going to come out of that thicket, so I need to set up over here. And he comes out of that dang thicket and
Yep.
checks that straight, and you smoke him,
Yep.
and he's 115
Yep.
inches, me,
Yep.
145 for you,
No.
but 15 for
No,
me,
that's
I'm happy.
yeah,
You know
that's
what
right.
I mean?
That's
Like
right.
it's like I got it. I feel
Yeah.
like a man. I feel like a
Yeah.
hunter.
Yeah. That
Uh,
that that deer I'm talking about was more like 100 inches, but I mean they're in Arkansas. But the
yeah.
the the reason why is because I knew the wind was going, like there was a pasture on the end of this. It was WRP, and I had some open woods kind of between the WRP, and there was a pasture on the south side of it. There was a pasture there, and the wind was angling like this. And I said, those deer, those bucks are going to be using that wind to their advantage, walking down the edge of that pasture in the woods, smelling everything in this WRP. I know that's what they're going to do. So I went in and I set up. And then that evening, I ended up seeing, like, it was like 4 does snuck up on me coming from the direction I thought the deer was going to come. And then they spooked, but it was like 2 hours before dark. So I was like, hey, we're fine. Of course, you know how it is. You're talking to the camera, it's gonna be fine. It's early, still time.
Yeah.
And then like 45 minutes before dark, I look up and just see a rat coming through the woods, and he's doing exactly what I thought he would do. And he's cutting an angle on me because that wind's going like this. And I'm like, he's about to get my wind. So I got to shoot him. So I shot him, and I go over there. And like I said, he wasn't a big buck by no means, but it was just that I figured that thing out. I set the stage. It was right. And that makes that old grip and grin a whole lot better whenever you do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
does.
It's just exciting to be able to beat them every now and then.
Yep.
You know, I was
I
talking to
think it's
Joe Miles.
animalistic.
Go ahead.
I think it's animalistic. I think it's a part of our animalistic instinct to,
Yep.
that God created and put into us to be able to survive.
Yeah.
I think he made us to where we like it, and it feels good.
It's
It feels
primal.
good to kill, it feels good, it feels primal, and it
Yep.
feels good to be right about doing it and
That's
figuring it
right.
out and playing that
Yeah.
chess
Yeah.
game,
Doing that
chess
cheese
match
grin.
or whatever. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I
And
mean,
and then
I we,
you throw on top of that hunting public, like you talking about. And when you can connect and do that on public, which you've done that more than me, because just a couple of deer you talked about killing on public, bucks. I've not killed that many bucks on public. So being able to do it on public, where everybody else and their mama can go to, and the
yeah.
deer probably a little skittish because in the South they just walk around looking up trees anyway. But you figured it out enough to kill one on public, and when you do that, man, you've done something. In the South, you've done something. It's different in the Midwest. The
Yeah.
South is different.
It's well,
Yep.
100%. Look, when you're riding down the road and you got land right there that you can hunt, and all you can see is between the white line on the road and the tree line, the shoulder of the road, and that's 85 yards and then everything is behind that, you
Yep.
have to then go in those woods and find those deer. You can't get up on no hill with binoculars
That's
and
right.
watch for 8 hours and
Yep.
watch and figure out their pattern. That's why
Yep.
we use cell cams. That's why
Yep.
everything, you know.
Yep.
Um, so, but I mean, it's so funny too. I'm a big public land hunter, and I didn't kill a public. Last year was the first year that I did not kill a deer on public land in, I don't know, 2018 maybe. Um, I killed two of the bucks that I killed last year off a feeder, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I killed one in South Mississippi with my bow, one in South Dakota with my bow. The South Dakota hunt was the best because we grunted that buck in and racked him in from about 250 yards. And like I said, I made my farthest shot that I've ever made on one, 40 yards, and um, and he was my first out of state deer.
Yeah.
But got that on YouTube, and I get to watch that and remember that.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I think
he
I,
filmed that with a phone just like
yeah.
this. He was sitting up there doing that right there, and I was behind him. Uh,
Golly.
but uh, but yeah, I mean, I when you do it on public and you go out there and you have to look for sign and you really have to you think about what you're doing and what the deer are doing. And I tell you, the Tyler Hines, he's from Morton, Mississippi, is hands down the best deer hunter I've ever hunted with. I met him in college. He's my age. He's 30. And he's the manager at the Roosevelt State Park down there. Um, he taught me when we were in school. I learned a lot of stuff from him going hunting with him. But one of the things, you always hear people tell you, listen to your gut. Your gut's probably right.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about Tyler, it didn't matter if he was 100 yards off the road or 4 miles deep. And Tyler's not fat, but he's not built like a marathon runner either. I
Right.
mean, he's a stocky boy, but he will outwalk you hands down. And he will. One thing I learned from him was food, water, shelter, all that. You got a jam up spot. But main thing is this. Well, two things. One thing, he said, if you find that acorn tree during bow season that's got crap up under it,
Yep.
that means those deer are eating those acorns for so long that they're sitting there long enough and
Yeah.
taking a dump. And they're
That's right.
coming back to it daily.
That's
That's the
right.
tree I want to hunt. I don't
Yep.
want to just hunt the one that's dropping. I want the one that's dropping. It's got those green acorns. It's also got that pile of crap
That's
under.
right. That's right.
But the other thing, the biggest thing was, man, Ty. I would we'd get in the woods after school some days or on the weekend or whatnot, and it'd be late in the evening, and we'd have like 2 hours before dark. And we'd walk in there, and by the time you found your tree or whatever, where you wanted to climb, I'd climb up. It'd be 45, or it'd be an hour and a half before dark. And I'm like, all right, I got to get up. I don't know about this spot, but I got to get up. And it'd be 30 minutes before dark, 25 minutes before dark. Ty texts me, just got up. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then it'd be 5 minutes before dark, and he kills one, you
Oh
know?
gosh. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what do you he's like, brother, let me tell you something. I don't slow down. I don't stop walking just cause I see a scrape or a rub. If I don't get fired up about that right there, I don't hunt there. I'm gonna walk. Now,
Right.
if it gets 5, 10 minutes before dark, I'll sit at the base of a tree and sit there, or whatever. But I'm not just coming in here to climb up in a tree and play on the phone. I'm coming here to kill something.
Right.
Make no mistake about it, I come to kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm gonna hunt over good sign. And
Yeah.
that's exactly how I killed that deer with my bow.
Yeah.
Is we had on the edge of a thicket, we had a white oak tree dropping in an active 3 community scrape
Golly.
with multiple rubs. And the funny part about it is I put my buddy there in that tree, and I went down 100 yards this way and hunted one single scrape. And that buck come out and checked my scrape. And I shot him at 25 yards. Uh,
Probably headed to the
probably my
acorn tree.
biggest kill.
Yeah.
What?
He probably was heading to the acorn tree
He
after he did the
was.
scrape.
He was headed that way, but
Yeah.
that's the biggest deer I've ever killed. And I was
Wow.
like, sorry, Cole. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, so he's a doctor. He's in New Orleans right
Yeah.
now. So
Right.
he'll have his 100. He's already killed bigger deer than I have.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, I took that, and that's one thing that, on public, is that listen to your gut. If you look at a place and you think like, I don't know what it is about this, but I like it.
Yeah.
Climb up.
Yeah.
Worst that can happen is you don't see nothing, you don't kill nothing, go
Yeah.
back,
Right.
regroup. But I've had it happen more times than none to where I killed that buck, this buck right here with my bow. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I see him. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's about 16. That's what we do around here. We go off width. We're like,
That's
oh,
right.
about 16 inches wide, man. It's a big deer.
It's a
But
monster.
we were hunting, me and Trey were hunting for about 5 days. And on that fifth day, I was looking at the map and I was like, man, there's kind of it's like a 90-degree in the hardwoods right here, and it 90s right there, and all this right here is thick pines. And I'm like, I'm gonna climb up right there in that corner. I feel like that's just kind of a natural funnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm climbed up on the edge of that, facing open hardwoods. No natural, it's flooded. It floods too. It wasn't then, but it floods. So there's no
No
forage,
undergrowth or nothing.
no
Yeah.
undergrowth, no nothing. And it had been hot. I was in a red flannel, work pants, and I was about 17 foot up in a climbing stand.
Oh man.
And I was sitting there, and like I said, I was like, man, this is supposed to rain here in a little bit, and it's warm. Good Lord. And I look up, and I remember him having an orange. It wasn't summer, it was bow season, but he had more of an orange style body. And I saw those horns, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's right there. And I stood up and I drew. And when I drew and got on him, he was right at about 18 yards from me. And I put it right on his shoulder and I popped him. His blood trail ran right by somebody's brand new climbing stand. I said, boy, if they get here tomorrow and see this, they gonna be ticked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but stuff like that, you see something and you're just like, man, I don't know what it is about this, but there's deer here. I
Yeah.
like this spot.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
since I've been hunting with Ty and stuff like that, man, if something, I don't stop just to hunt nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go and go and go and find the spot.
Yeah.
Or if I come up on an area and I'm just like, boy, this right here, this looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. I'm gonna hunt it.
It
And
just
I feel
feels
more deer
deary.
doing that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just looks
Yeah.
deery,
Yeah.
And I've also hunted the opposite to where I've hunted, 8 rubs in 14 feet with 3 scrapes and not seen a dang thing
Yeah.
in 7 sits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Welcome to public on that too, huh? Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
yeah,
I know some of the public that we have here close to home. I mean, it's some big deer on it, swampy big deer. But
yeah,
dude, you may go 4, 5, 6 hunts and see 2 does. That's it. But at the same
yeah,
time, you may be sitting there and a 170 walk out on you or something. You
yeah.
never know. You never know. So,
I killed that deer January the 1st of 2018. He's a small 8 point. And before I killed that deer, oh, I killed that on my mama and daddy's place. I hadn't seen a deer in 3 weeks, and I hunted 4 days a week. Three
wow.
three whole weeks. I hadn't seen one doe, one fawn. I ain't seen
Hmm.
a hair on one's back.
Yeah.
And I told my wife we had just taken her parents back to the Nashville airport, for them to fly out. They had visited us. And I told her when we got back, it was 4 o'clock, and I lived at that time about 2 minutes from my parents. We lived about 2 minutes from my parents. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go over and sit on the ground on this one spot. And she's like, honey, it's after 4. It gets dark in an hour. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm gonna go over and sit down. And I think I left the house at 4:05, and I think I sat down in the chair at like 4:08, and killed him at 413.
Golly.
Chasing him doe.
Yeah, golly.
So I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it
you never
happens.
know. You never
Sometimes it
know.
happens, and I've got terribly depressing stories over the last 5 years about deer that should be on 5 deer that should be on this wall, way bigger.
Yeah.
And it happens too on
Oh yeah.
public. It
Oh
just
yeah.
gun clicks, whatever, and you got a stud,
Yeah.
and it just clicks,
Yeah.
So
You let him go so Uncle Bob could kill him down the way.
yeah, screw Uncle
Yeah,
Bob.
exactly
All right,
right.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it happens, and you never know. You never know on public. It's so many different variables, that can change the hunt for the good or for the bad. I mean, a lot of times with the public, um, you know, people come in on you and you don't know they're coming in on you and they spook something, but then sometimes they're coming in on you and they run something over you. I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
you don't ever know.
that's right.
So it's just
That's
a lot
right.
of variables there. But your favorite style of hunting, you would say, is it gun hunting?
I would no,
Or
I
you
wouldn't.
don't care, just anything.
The feeling I got when I shot that deer in South Dakota,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I
just
watched that one.
I I I hadn't felt that with a gun. I have not
Yeah.
felt that with a gun. I do want to get there one day to where I'm primarily a bow. I do
Yeah.
want to get there one day to where when it's gun season, I take my bow. I
Yeah.
do want to get there. I
Yeah.
ain't there yet, but I would prefer to shoot one with a bow.
Yeah.
But when it's gun season, he ain't walking out at 70 yards and staring at me with a bow in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't doing that. He's gonna get a slug, a 308,
Yeah. Yeah.
something,
You ain't gonna be doing that with that bow
Uh-uh.
checking the wind.
I'm not gonna be sitting there with that rangefinder doing this and being like, oh Lord, please
Yeah.
bring him closer. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go through that scope and I'm like, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
and hopefully hit him. My luck in the last 5 years has been I've gotten close and distant from God,
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, with that. All right. So with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like it all, man. I just like going out there and killing deer, man.
Yeah.
I like seeing the sun come up on a cool morning.
Yeah.
Uh, and I like watching a deer come out of a thicket at about 3 minutes before dark
Yeah.
and just hearing that step
Hmm.
and looking for him and being like, I'm hearing his step. He's right there. Where's the deer? And
Yeah.
then right there he is. It's like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah. How do you get there
So
that
dark.
fast?
How did he
Yeah.
get right there?
Yeah.
And then you shoot that son of a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that shoot hunting with that bow all the time can definitely give you some heartbreaking moments too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got probably one of the most brutal stories ever hunting with a bow was in Kansas. It was my first year to go to Kansas. That guy in my church, he'd been hunting in Kansas for a long time, mostly turkeys, but he started deer hunting there and he invited me to get in a deal with him. And so I did. And the first day, and I didn't have any of this on video. For whatever reason, I just didn't bring my video that day, my camera. And I was using one of them Primos bleat cans, the
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was meh, 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 early morning. And son, I was on just the side of a little old ridge, and it was a cedar thicket out there, and like a growed up pasture, but had a lot of cedars. And come barreling off of that little ridge. I'm talking about right there, 30 yards from me. It was oh my gosh, it was a dark horn stud, son. He comes barreling through. I'm like 15 feet high in my climber, and he walks right beside my tree, like right under my tree. He never knows I'm in the world. He never looks up. Again, not a Louisiana deer. Louisiana deer be
Right.
doing this the whole time. So he walks right under my stand.
They wouldn't have come to that Primo's
They
call
they
anyway.
would not have. They would have said, "Go the other way, go the other way."
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
he's right there, and I shoot straight down Trent, and I drilled that sucker. I said, "That joker dead." He runs out there. He's like 35 yards, and he's just sitting there looking away from me, and he's just kind of just funny looking, Just he's hurt. And I'm sitting there waiting on him to drop, and I mean, he's a solid deer. I ain't gonna say he's a 170 or nothing like that, but he was definitely a 130s, 140 kind of deer. So he's sitting right there and I'm just watching him. So I pick up my phone and I'm like, I text my buddy and I'm like, just shot a monster, a monster. And for whatever reason, I'm consumed with texting my buddy, waiting on that deer to fall.
How far was he?
35 yards, just standing there. I could have put another arrow in him all day. He was quartering away. I mean, and I'm
Mm.
just, all I'm worried about is texting my buddy, telling him, I just shot a big one. I shot a big one. I dropped the phone. It hits the ground, and he turns around and looks at me like this, and then he just walks off. I never found that deer. I
Are you
blood trailed
kidding?
I blood trailed that deer 30 yards and never found that deer. Sick to my stomach. I could have shot him 100 times over the second shot, and I was thinking he was just gonna fall. I was like, he's finna fall. I smoked him. I went right down his back.
I will say that's a big difference in me and you
Yeah,
too, is that if that deer's still breathing and
yeah,
he's in range, whether it be
yeah,
gun or bow,
yeah, yeah,
whatever I have on me,
yeah.
I shot one deer. I had a deer like that. Uh that deer, this deer right
Uh-huh.
there,
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah,
cousin was 500 yards from me. We was hunting a big power line on public.
yeah.
And I was down in the bottom of the power line. And he come out. He come out, man, and it was one of those things. I was completely wrong. I was like, this deer's gonna come out here out of the power line thicket on the other side, and I hear something, and I look up, and he's coming out right here. It's bad wind and everything in a climber, and did the same thing. I stood up and look, this deer was sniffing my bow rope,
Oh gosh.
and at this time, this was the biggest deer that I'd ever killed with a bow, that
Yeah,
I'd ever seen with a bow.
yeah. So it's a
And
hammer.
he's yes, and
Yeah,
that deer might not even touch 100 inches.
yeah. But he's a
And
hammer in that
let me tell
situation.
you, I was literally I tried to draw first, and I couldn't. And so I had to take my bow and go over the arm of my climber, and I was seriously like straight down.
Hmm.
I shot this deer and I spined him, and he right there under the tree, and he went to
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he
Yeah.
did all that mess. And dude, let me tell you something. He wouldn't die. And I hate to get graphic.
Yeah. That's right.
I had 5 arrows in that quiver.
Yeah.
Um, we pulled 5 arrows out of that deer that
Oh
night
my gosh.
because, dude, it got so bad. Look, it got so bad. Luke was up on the hill, and he may have not been 500, but he was in between. I'd say 250 and 500, somewhere in there.
He could hear you.
He could hear the shot. He could hear the shot and go because because I looked at my phone after I had to go down there, and um I don't think I cut that deer's throat. I think I did, and one of them arrows ended up hitting him in the heart or something, killing him. But felt sorry for him. That's terrible. But uh I checked my phone. I was going to call Luke, and I had two text messages from him, and the first one said, "Heck yeah, heard that thump." And then about 2 minutes later, I hear, "Well, are you gonna get him or not?"
I'm
He
trying.
said,
I'm
so
trying.
later when I was talking to him, he said, man, he said, I didn't know what was going on over there. He said, I heard, he said, I heard him. He said, I knew you got him. I knew you
Yeah.
hit
Yeah.
hard. And he said, I heard it again. And he's like, well, all right. Wow, wow. He's like, I'm like, Dad gum, son, how many arrows do you bring and how many do you need? Like, golly.
I need all of them on this bad boy.
So let me tell you something. When I got a deer, I'm I know it's gonna look unprofessional and it's gonna look bad, but I mean, I'm sending them.
Yeah.
I'm sending them because it's just I get too torn up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
envy guys. I envy guys that can have that happen to them or miss a deer or whatever and just simply shrug it off.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
I feel like I'm getting better at that.
Sure.
Dude, over the last like 5 years, when I tell you I've had 5 wall hanger, like 130 to 140 inch deer, get away from me because of misses or
Yeah.
something stupid, um, or just plain old bad luck.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and you were, I was serious, man. Like I'm talking serious enough. This is how stupid I am. Serious enough to start blaming God.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he had it
How
out for you,
bad
wouldn't let
of
you kill one. Yeah.
how bad of a jackass do you have to be
Yeah.
to curse God
Yeah.
for for your gun clicking?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is how God works. That happened. My gun clicked on a big buck and would have been the biggest in my life. And it was just such a horrible season. And the year before that had been a bad season. And I was like, this is, I'm paying for some kind of sin. I'm
Yeah.
Baptist. So we're always
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
punished.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm paying for some kind of sin. And I think it was I verbally worst part of my life, I verbally cursed God. And I think the next day, trying to think which one it was. I think it's in there. The next day I killed a rack buck chasing a doe on public. And I remember and I was just like, you know, you're an idiot. You just curse the creator for not allowing you because he's all knowing and he's all
Yeah. Right.
powerful. And he
Yeah.
could teleport that big deer right there and let
That's
that gun
right.
misfire 10 times and give you a chance to go in there and stab it in the heart
Yeah.
if he wanted to. And he
If he
didn't choose
wanted
to do
to.
that.
Yeah.
So screw him. Okay. That's what you say. And then he's like, just all right, here, look, I got
Yeah.
one for you
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine, you
Have
know?
another.
And that's where I was like, okay, all right, I seriously have a problem
Yeah.
and I gotta lighten up.
Yeah.
This ain't that big of a deal. It's a
Yeah.
hobby. And we live in a country to where we can openly share our faith and not be actively persecuted. Nobody's
Right.
persecuted, you know.
No. No.
You know what I mean? Like until they start throwing us in tubs of oil
Yeah.
and
Right.
stuff like nobody's just because you get, shunned at work, you ain't
Right.
persecuted, you know.
Yeah.
So let's act right. All right.
Yeah.
It's just deer hunting. It's
Yeah.
deer hunting. You
Yeah.
messed up. You missed.
Yeah.
Whatever happened. But yeah.
What a subtle reminder of the Lord though to go hey, just a small reminder after you kill the deer the next day, just a small reminder that my grace is sufficient even in your weakness. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
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 I'll take it. I'll take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
What a
killing with
dummy I
kindness.
am.
Like
I
I
take it. Thank
expected
you.
you
Yeah.
to paralyze me after I
Yeah.
said what I said. I
Right.
expected to get in a wreck the next day.
Yeah.
Instead, you gave me one of the greatest hunts of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
He's got to look down on us and laugh sometimes, like my people, my people.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
That's
Amen.
right. That's right. Well, man, look, I have kept you long enough and I appreciate it. And I have enjoyed the conversation. And I really be honest with you, feel like we could sit here and talk for another hour. But your wife will probably get mad about that if we did. But it's enjoyable talking to you. I think we could talk about hunting for a while. I
Same
got
here,
a
brother.
lot more. I got a lot more stories I could tell you, but
Same here.
we'd be here all night.
Well, we
But
can definitely do it again.
yeah, yeah, I've enjoyed it 100%. Ain't no doubt about it, and I appreciate you being on. And I'll get all of this kind of edited up, and we'll see what happens from there. And
Hey, man, I,
but
I appreciate you having me, Casey.
yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's funny as I'll get out, brother. And I know my son enjoys it. I enjoy watching the little clips that you put out there, and I'll be keeping an eye out on your YouTube channel as well. I know you've been doing that some too. So
Well,
uh,
hey, same here. You
at
still
the
keep shooting that gum big deer with a recurve, and you'll
uh,
be you'll be the next Tim Wells channel on there,
no, I
man.
don't know
It's gonna
about that.
blow up.
I wish, but I am going to try it. I will tell you that I'm going to try it and get super serious about it even more so this year. And I've been following a lot of different guys lately that's been doing it for a while and trying to learn the best I can from them about how to be better at it. And the one thing that I have learned from those guys that traditional hunt most all of the time is that them suckers really learn how to be awesome woodsmen and just read the sign really well. And the reason why is because they have to get super close to the deer, and
Mhm.
to get a shot at it. So, my range, I will shoot one to 20. I killed that first one at 20, but I don't like to. I would rather them be 12 yards is my sweet spot. I like 12
Yeah.
yards. If I can get them 12 and in, that I feel really good about that.
Yeah.
When they get that close, I'm thinking, if I can get this thing back without you seeing me, you're finna die. You're
Yeah.
finna die.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, but enough about that, man. I appreciate it. I will let you go. And I appreciate you being on here.
Well, thank you, Casey.
Yep.
Thank you, and keep up good work, brother. And
All
tell your
right.
boy appreciate him too.
I will. I will, man. Appreciate it.